Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the ESS Horizon, Earth's first deep space exploration vessel capable of reaching the Andromeda Arm. Her keen eyes traced patterns in the star field that others might miss, a skill that had earned her this command. The ship's sensors flashed a warning, detecting the subtle distortion in space, something that shouldn't be there. Multiple contacts, Captain. Lieutenant Park reported from his station. They're not showing up on standard scans, but there's definitely a pattern to the stellar light distortion. His fingers danced across the holographic interface, adjusting parameters that other species would consider far too subtle to matter. The bridge crew fell into an instinctive silence, their ancestors' hunting instincts transforming modern technology into tools of observation. They tracked the almost imperceptible shifts in the star field, their brains processing patterns that their most advanced computers struggle to recognize. Dr. Emily Santos, the ship's xenobiologist, approached the main display. Those movements, they're deliberate. Whatever's out there, they're studying us. She pointed to seemingly random shifts in space. Look at the pattern. It's similar to how researchers observe animals in the wild. Captain Chen smiled slightly, recognizing the irony. They think they're the observers. She opened a channel to engineering. Chief Martinez, can you modify our sensor array to track thermal variations at the quantum level? Already on it, Captain, came the reply. Humans might not have natural infrared vision, but we got something better. We can imagine it, then build tools to see it. The modifications revealed what other species believed impossible to detect. 3 ships, their stealth systems based on principles that should have rendered them completely invisible. The alien vessels hung in space, their observation patterns now clear to the human crew. Open a channel, Chen ordered. All frequencies, let's see if they want to talk. The silence that followed was expected, but the subtle shift in the alien ship's positions told her they'd received the transmission. They were surprised, perhaps even concerned that they'd been detected. Santos studied the data streaming across her station. Their hull configuration, it's amazing. But look at these energy readings. Their life support suggests a species adapted to stable environments. They've never needed to become persistence hunters. The aliens finally responded, their transmission carrying both audio and visual signals. The beams appeared insectoid, their crystalline eyes multifaceted and fixed. Their language translated slowly through the ship's AI, but their surprise was evident even before the words became clear. Impossible, the alien commander stated. Our stealth systems are perfect. No species has ever detected us during observation. Chen leaned forward, her posture relaxed but alert, an unconscious display of the predatory confidence that had helped her species survive and thrive. Perhaps you haven't encountered a species that evolved to track prey through the smallest signs: broken twigs, disturbed soil, heat signatures that linger for days. We may be new to space, but we've spent millions of years perfecting the art of observation. The aliens' response came slower this time, their movements suggesting agitation. You track, through residual signs. Your species hunts. We do more than hunt, Santos interjected, her scientific curiosity matching the aliens' own. We observe, analyze, and adapt. Every tool we create extends our natural abilities. Your stealth technology is impressive, but it never accounted for a species that evolved to notice the seemingly unnoticeable. As if to demonstrate, Chen gestured to a tactical display showing the aliens' exact positions, their movement patterns, and even predictions of their likely next maneuvers based on their previous behavior. The human crew had been unconsciously analyzing and cataloging every detail since first contact. The alien commander's next words carried a note of what their cultural liaison would later identify as respect tinged with unease. We have much to discuss, humans of Earth. Perhaps we are not the observers we thought we were. As negotiations began, Chen couldn't help but notice how the alien ships subtly adjusted their positions, moving out of optimal ambush range, a tactical adjustment they probably weren't even conscious of making. Humanity's first deep space contact had revealed something crucial. In the darkness between stars, the skills that made humans Earth's ultimate predators would serve them in ways their ancestors could never have imagined. Xenobiologist Rakuri adjusted her observation screen for the 1,000th time, mandibles clicking in fascination as she studied the human athletic competition called marathon running. Her research station orbiting Earth had been established after first contact, a joint scientific venture that the collective insisted was purely academic. Another recording, Rakuri. Her supervisor, senior researcher Vextil, clicked disapprovingly. The council requires analysis of their industrial capabilities, not their recreational activities. Rakuri's antenna twitched with barely contained excitement. But don't you see? Everything is connected. Look at this. She gestured to the display showing humans running under the blazing sun. They're not just moving. They're practicing ancient hunting techniques. Even their sports retain echoes of their predatory heritage. The recording shifted to show different competitions. Swimmers crossing vast distances, climbers scaling sheer cliffs, and cyclists traversing varied terrains. Each activity demonstrated the remarkable combination of endurance, strategic thinking, and adaptability that made humans unique. Their thermal regulation system is extraordinary, Rakuri continued, pulling up biological scans. They cool themselves through perspiration, allowing them to maintain activity levels that would cause heat death in most species. And look at their muscle structure. They sacrifice immediate power for sustained performance. Vextil moved closer, his scientific curiosity finally engaging. Interesting, but how does this relate to their current capabilities? Everything they create extends these natural abilities. Rakuri switched the display to show human space stations and ships. See these environmental systems. They're based on their biological cooling mechanism. Their ship designs incorporate the same efficiency of movement they developed for persistence hunting. The data streams showed countless examples: spacesuits that enhanced their natural endurance, navigation systems that complemented their pattern recognition abilities, and weapons that amplified their innate throwing capabilities, a skill unique among known species. A new transmission arrived from Earth, making both researchers pause. It showed humans practicing in zero gravity, adapting their terrestrial abilities to space with remarkable speed. Rakuri's excitement grew as she documented their learning curve. Most species take generations to adapt to space, she noted, her voice filled with professional admiration. Humans do it within their brief lifespans. They don't just survive change. They actively seek it out, like predators exploring new hunting grounds. Vextil studied the latest psychological assessments. Their drive to explore. It mirrors hunting behavior. They track, observe, and study just as their ancestors did when seeking prey. But they've transformed these instincts into scientific pursuit. Rakuri pulled up her most controversial finding. And look at their social structures. Other predatory species are solitary or form small groups. Humans combine pack hunting tactics with complex social hierarchies. They can coordinate in numbers that should be impossible for predators. The station's alert system interrupted them, signaling an approaching solar storm. Rakuri watched in amazement as their human colleagues calmly implemented safety procedures they had drilled countless times. Even facing stellar fury, they maintained the focused calm of experienced hunters. Their adaptability extends beyond physical traits, Rakuri observed. They anticipate problems, prepare for them, and treat challenges as opportunities to improve. It's a predator's mindset applied to every aspect of existence. Later that cycle, as Rakuri prepared her report for the council, she included a personal observation. Humanity's predatory heritage should not be viewed with fear. They've transformed hunting capabilities into tools for exploration, protection, and discovery. Their instincts drive them not to dominate, but to understand. She attached records of human medical personnel working tirelessly to save lives, engineers adapting predatory pattern recognition to solve complex problems, and scientists applying hunting persistence to research challenges. Perhaps, she concluded, What makes humans unique is not that they remained predators, but how they evolved beyond pure predatory behavior while retaining its advantages. They hunt not for dominance, but for knowledge. And in doing so, they may help us discover abilities we never knew we possessed. Rakiri sent the report, knowing it would challenge many preconceptions. As she watched Earth gleam below the station, she wondered what other surprises humanity's evolutionary path might reveal to the galaxy. The storm howled across Maxwell Colony, the fourth human settlement on Rigel Prime. Red dust clouds towered 50 kilometers high, threatening to overwhelm the settlement's shields. Most species would have abandoned such a hostile world months ago. Instead, the human colonists gathered in the main hall, their expressions showing not defeat but determination. Dr. Marcus Wong, the colony's lead engineer, stood before the assembled crowd, his weathered face illuminated by holographic displays of the approaching storm. The atmospheric processors are struggling, but we've seen worse on Mars. We adapt, we overcome. In orbit, representatives from 3 different alien civilizations watched with a mixture of concern and fascination. Their own attempts to colonize similar worlds had ended in retreat. The Araxians had declared the planet unsuitable after 2 cycles. The Tellurians hadn't lasted a month. They should evacuate. Senior observer Kelta noted, their crystalline form shimmering with worry. The mineral deposits aren't worth this risk. Below, the colonists moved with practiced efficiency. They had trained for this, their bodies and minds conditioned by millions of years of adapting to Earth's varying climates. Where other species sought stable environments, humans thrived on change. Sarah Chen, now serving as colonial administrator after her years as a starship captain, coordinated the response teams. Team 1. Reinforce the northern barriers. Team 2. Redirect power to the secondary shields. We've got 48 hours to outlast this storm. The aliens observed as humans worked through the night, their endurance pushing far beyond what most species could maintain. They took breaks in shifts, displaying the same rotation strategy their ancestors had used during long hunts. Fascinating, remarked Dr. Cole, a xenobiologist. They're treating the storm like prey, studying its patterns, predicting its movements, and positioning themselves to outlast it. Hour after hour, the humans demonstrated why they excelled at colonizing harsh worlds. When shield generators overheated, they developed new cooling systems based on their own biological temperature regulation. When communication arrays failed, they adapted ancient signal methods to maintain coordination. Look at their problem-solving approach, Kavol continued. They're not just surviving. They're learning from each challenge, improving their techniques. Like predators adapting their hunting strategies. The storm intensified beyond predicted levels. Support beams groaned under the strain, and microfractures appeared in the outer barriers. Other species would have seen these as signs to retreat. The humans saw them as data points, each challenge revealing new ways to strengthen their position. Administrator Chen's voice carried across the colony's communication network. Our ancestors faced ice ages with stone tools and crossed oceans in wooden boats. This storm is just another challenge to overcome. Stay focused, stay alert, and watch out for each other. In that moment, the observing aliens understood something crucial about humanity. These colonists weren't just surviving. They were displaying the same instincts that had made their species Earth's apex predators. They studied their environment, adapted their tools, and worked together with a coordination that seemed impossible for a predatory species. As the storm reached its peak, the humans revealed another trait that had served them for millennia: the ability to enter a state of focused calm during crisis. Their vital signs showed elevated but controlled stress responses, their minds remaining clear and analytical even as the world raged around them. 46 hours later, the storm passed. Maxwell Colony stood intact, its barriers scraped but unbroken, its inhabitants tired but triumphant. The humans immediately began analyzing data from the event, treating their success not as an endpoint, but as a step toward better understanding their new home. Observer Kelta prepared their report for the Galactic Council. Humans don't just adapt to hostile environments, they transform them. Their predatory heritage gives them unique advantages in colonization efforts. Where others see insurmountable challenges, they see opportunities to improve and expand their capabilities. As Maxwell Colony's inhabitants emerged to survey their world under clearing skies, they unconsciously demonstrated another truth about their species. Like their ancestors tracking prey across ancient savannas, they had learned to read the signs of their environment, to predict its challenges, and to persist where others would falter. The galaxy was beginning to understand. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't just their ability to survive, but their drive to thrive in conditions that would break most species. Alarms blared across the galactic central station as gravimetric sensors detected the approaching anomaly. 3 different species scrambled to evacuate, their instincts urging them to flee from the massive spatial distortion. Through the chaos, the human rescue vessel SS Nightingale maintained a steady course toward the danger. Captain Maya Patel stood on the bridge, her expression focused as she studied the swirling patterns of the spatial anomaly. Around her, her crew worked with the intense concentration their ancestors had once used to track elusive prey across vast distances. Multiple ships caught in the gravitational eddy, Captain Lieutenant James O'Connor reported, his fingers dancing across the sensor controls. 2 Meridian transports and a HFY science vessel. Their engines can't break free. The Nightingale's quantum sensors, designed to match human pattern recognition abilities, painted a clear picture of the trap. The anomaly had created a complex web of gravitational forces, drawing in ships like ancient quicksand snaring unwary animals. "Plot me a course through those gravity wells," Maya ordered. "The same way our ancestors read river currents to predict where prey would cross. The physics may be different, but the patterns remain the same." The bridge crew responded with practiced precision. Their training had built upon instincts honed by millennia of hunting, the ability to analyze complex environmental signals and make split-second decisions. "First Meridian transport locked in tractor beam," O'Connor announced. The rescued ship's crew transmitted waves of gratitude as they were pulled to safety. Moving to second target. In the observation deck of the nearby station, various alien diplomats watched in astonishment. The humans weren't just conducting a rescue. They were demonstrating hunting behaviors transformed into protection. "Remarkable," Senior Diplomat Zexra noted. "They're using predatory tracking techniques to navigate the anomaly. What once helped them catch prey now helps them save lives." The Nightingale executed a series of precise maneuvers that seemed to defy the chaos around them. Each movement was calculated, efficient, reminiscent of a pack working together to achieve its goal. The second Meridian transport broke free of the gravitational trap, its hull groaning but intact. The HFY vessel proved more challenging. It had drifted deeper into the anomaly, where the spatial distortions were strongest. Other rescue ships held back, their crews unwilling to risk the intense gravitational forces. Captain Patel's voice remained steady. "All hands, prepare for deep insertion. Just like diving into rough waters. Read the currents, time your movements. Trust your instincts." The Nightingale plunged into the heart of the anomaly. The ship's structural integrity alarms screamed warnings, but the crew maintained their focus. Their ancestors had tracked prey through storms and floods. This was just another environment to master. "HFY ship in range," O'Connor reported. "Their power core is critical. We have less than 5 minutes." Maya smiled, the expression holding the same focused energy her prehistoric ancestors had shown when closing in on their quarry. "Then we'll do it in 4. Execute rescue pattern Delta." The human ship moved with devastating precision, its actions guided by the same instincts that had once made humans Earth's most successful hunters. The tractor beam locked on, and both ships began their ascent from the gravitational well. Later, as the rescued crews recovered in the station's medical bay, the alien diplomats drafted their reports. They noted how the humans had transformed primal hunting behaviors into something unprecedented. the drive to protect and save others. We misunderstood their predatory nature, Zexra concluded. Their hunting instincts give them unique advantages in crisis response. They don't just track and pursue, they understand patterns in ways our species never needed to develop. The Nightingale's crew, meanwhile, was already analyzing data from the rescue, looking for ways to improve their techniques. Like their ancestors studying prey behavior, they treated each experience as an opportunity to learn and adapt. In the vast darkness of space, humanity's predatory heritage had evolved into something new. The same abilities that had once made them fearsome hunters now made them invaluable protectors, turning ancient survival skills into tools for safeguarding all species. The merchant vessel Starweaver drifted in space, its hull bearing fresh scorch marks from a pirate attack. Captain Lin Zhao of the HSS Artemis studied the debris field through narrowed eyes, reading the story it told just as her ancestors once read tracks in forest soil. Third attacked this sector, Security Chief Rodrigo Vargas noted, his hands moving across the tactical display. But this time, we were close enough to gather data about their hunting patterns. He paused, realizing he'd used a distinctly human term. The bridge crew of the Artemis had spent weeks tracking the pirate raids, applying ancient hunting strategies to space combat. They weren't just protecting merchants, they were developing a new approach to space security. Look at their attack formations. Lin pointed to the holographic display. They're treating trade routes like watering holes, predictable places where prey must appear. She highlighted several intersecting paths, but they've never encountered a prey that hunts back. In the nearby space station, representatives from 12 trading species gathered to hear humanity's proposed solution. Ambassador Sarah Chen, the former starship captain and colonial administrator, stood before them. "We call it the Guardian Pack Protocol," she explained, bringing up a tactical display, based on how our ancestors' coordinated group hunts across vast territories. The alien merchants leaned forward, their various sensory organs focused on the presentation. The protocol was elegantly simple, drawing on millions of years of predatory evolution. Merchant ships would travel in groups, accompanied by human security vessels that used pack hunting tactics. The formations adapted ancient strategies used to protect tribal hunting parties. Our ancestors learned to coordinate without drawing attention. Sarah continued. Hand signals became encrypted transmissions. Animal calls became coded quantum bursts. The principles remain the same. Protect the group by outthinking the predator. The first test of the protocol came sooner than expected. A merchant convoy detected approaching pirates near the Carina Nebula. Instead of fleeing, they executed the new strategy. Contact, bearing 035, reported Lieutenant Emma Park aboard the Artemis. They're moving just like we predicted, following old attack patterns. Captain Lin's voice carried the focused calm of a hunter in their element. Execute Protocol Alpha. Let's show them what it means to face coordinated pack tactics. The human security ships moved with practiced precision, their formations based on how wolf packs encircled larger prey. They didn't just react to the pirates, they anticipated their movements, cut off escape routes, and turned the hunters into the hunted. Remarkable, observed a Meridian trademaster watching from the convoy. They're using their predatory instincts not to destroy, but to protect. The battle ended quickly. The pirates, faced with coordinated opposition instead of isolated prey, retreated with heavy damage. Not a single merchant vessel was lost. In the aftermath, Sarah presented the results to the Galactic Trade Council. "This is just the beginning," she explained. "Each encounter teaches us more, allows us to refine our techniques, like our ancestors learning the behaviors of both prey and rival predators." The council members exchanged glances, their various species expressions showing growing appreciation. Humanity had taken the very traits that once made others nervous, their predatory coordination, their pack-hunting instincts, and transformed them into a shield for peaceful commerce. "We're adapting," Sarah concluded, "just as our species always has. The skills that once helped us survive on Earth now help us protect others among the stars." The Guardian Pact protocol spread rapidly across trade routes. Human security ships taught other species their techniques, sharing the protection strategies that had evolved from ancient hunting behaviors. Captain Lin stood on the Artemis Bridge weeks later, watching another convoy move safely through previously dangerous space. Her crew maintained their vigilant watch, their senses alert for any sign of threat, their coordinated actions guided by instincts older than civilization itself. In the endless dark between stars, humanity had found a new purpose for their predatory heritage. The same abilities that had once made them fearsome hunters now made them the galaxy's most effective guardians, proving that evolution's gifts could serve purposes their ancestors could never have imagined. Deep within the Galactic Research Institute, Dr. Elena Santos stared at the holographic display showing the complete human evolutionary path. Around her, scientists from 12 different species gathered to witness her presentation, their diverse sensory organs focused on the data streams. The key to understanding humans, Elena began, lies not in what we became, but in why we evolved this way. The display shifted to show ancient Earth, its environments more varied and challenging than most habitable worlds. Lead researcher Caxvi moved closer, their crystalline form refracting light. As they studied the data, your species faced constant environmental changes rather than achieving equilibrium. Most peculiar. Elena nodded, bringing up new simulations. Earth never allowed for specialization. Instead, we adapted to be generalists, able to survive in deserts, tundra, forests, and plains. Each environment shaped different aspects of our capabilities. The display showed human ancestors running across savannas, crafting tools in forests, and surviving ice ages. Unlike most species that evolved to fill specific niches, humans had developed the ability to adapt to almost any situation. But the most fascinating aspect, Elena continued, was how our predatory abilities evolved alongside our intelligence. She highlighted brain development patterns. We didn't just become smarter, we became smarter in ways that enhanced our hunting capabilities. The alien scientists watched as she demonstrated how human pattern recognition, developed for tracking prey, now allowed them to detect subtle anomalies in space. Their throwing abilities, unique among known species, had led to unprecedented accuracy in spatial navigation. Your thermal regulation system, noted Dr. Xerix, a xenophysiologist. It's remarkably inefficient compared to other methods, yet their voice trailed off as Elena brought up endurance running data. Exactly, Elena smiled. Sweating allows us to regulate our temperature during extended physical activity. What seems inefficient in one context becomes a tremendous advantage in another. We sacrifice short-term energy efficiency for long-term operational capability. The presentation shifted to show human social structures. Unlike solitary predators or simple pack hunters, humans had developed complex cooperative behaviors that should have been impossible for a predatory species. We didn't just hunt in groups, Elena explained. We developed the ability to coordinate in numbers far beyond what any predator should be capable of. Our social intelligence evolved alongside our hunting instincts. A junior researcher raised an appendage. But how does this apply to modern humans? Surely these traits are vestigial now. Elena's response was to bring up neural scans of human spaceship crews, colonists, and scientists. These ancient adaptations underpin everything we do. Our problem-solving approaches still follow hunting patterns. Our social structures still reflect pack dynamics, just at a larger scale. The display showed human engineering projects, scientific discoveries, and space exploration missions. In each case, Elena demonstrated how ancient predatory adaptations had been transformed into tools for advancement. Look at how we design our ships. She pointed to various schematics. The layouts reflect territorial patterns. Our security systems mirror ambush detection instincts. Even our scientific method follows the same steps our ancestors used to track prey. Observe, hypothesize, test, adapt. The alien scientists began to understand. Humanity hadn't succeeded despite their predatory heritage. They had succeeded because of it. Every trait that had made them successful hunters had been repurposed for exploration and innovation. But perhaps most importantly, Alina concluded, these adaptations gave us something unique: the ability to see patterns in chaos, to find opportunities in challenges, and to work together in ways that transcend normal predator-prey dynamics. The final display showed human achievements across the galaxy: successful colonies on hostile worlds, innovative solutions to space travel challenges, and unprecedented cooperative ventures with other species. Dr. Caxby's final notes captured the essence of the presentation. Human evolution followed an unprecedented path. Instead of specializing for a specific environment or role, they developed the ability to adapt to any situation. Their predatory heritage, rather than limiting them, gave them tools that could be repurposed for any challenge. As the presentation concluded, Alina knew she had helped the galaxy understand something crucial about her species. Humans weren't just another predatory species that had achieved spaceflight. They were the product of an evolutionary journey that had prepared them to face any challenge the universe might present. The training arena aboard the Galactic Security Academy hummed with activity as Captain Maya Rodriguez demonstrated basic tracking techniques to a class of alien security officers. Her students represented 15 different species, each eager to learn from humanity's unique skill set. Space combat isn't about who has the biggest weapons, Maya explained, manipulating the holographic display. It's about understanding patterns, predicting movements, and staying 3 steps ahead of your opponent, just like tracking prey across challenging terrain. A Meridian officer raised their primary appendage. But our species never evolved such capabilities. How can we learn what took your species millions of years to develop? Maya smiled, adjusting the simulation. While we can't replicate our exact evolutionary path, we can teach you to think like we do. Watch this. She initiated a combat scenario where a small ship evaded 3 larger pursuers. See how they're focusing on where the target is. She highlighted the pursuers' movements. A human hunter would focus on where the target will be. We developed this ability tracking animals that could outrun us. We succeeded by predicting their destination, rather than chasing their current position. The alien officers watched intently as Maya demonstrated how human tracking principles could be applied to space combat, search and rescue, and even trade route protection. Their various sensory organs focused on the patterns she revealed. Your species suggests trying to match human physical capabilities is impossible, noted Senior Instructor Carell. But teaching us to understand your cognitive approaches, that's fascinating. In another section of the Academy, Dr. James Chen worked with a group of xenobiologists, showing them how humans processed environmental data. The scientists were particularly interested in humanity's ability to find patterns in seemingly random information. We don't just see what's there, James explained, pointing to a complex stellar phenomenon. We instinctively look for what doesn't fit, what's changed, what's out of place. Our ancestors needed this skill to spot camouflaged prey or hidden predators. The alien scientists practiced the techniques, learning to engage their analytical capabilities in new ways. They discovered that while they couldn't replicate human instincts, they could learn to apply similar principles using their own unique abilities. In the engineering section, Lieutenant Sarah Wong taught alien technicians how humans approached problem solving. We don't just solve the immediate problem, she demonstrated. We look for patterns that might indicate similar problems in the future. It's like a hunter learning from each successful or failed hunt. The Academy's success caught the attention of the Galactic Council. Species that had once feared humanity's predatory nature now sought to learn from it. Human instructors found themselves teaching everything from spatial navigation to crisis management. They're not just learning our techniques, Maya reported to Admiral Chen during a review session. They're adapting our approaches to work with their own evolutionary advantages. The Meridians combined our tracking principles with their natural electromagnetic sensitivity. The Arxians integrated our pattern recognition methods with their hive mind processing. The Admiral nodded, studying the training results. We're not creating copies of human hunters. We're helping each species discover their own hidden capabilities. The impact spread beyond security applications. Scientific teams began applying human observational techniques to research. Trading groups adopted human risk assessment approaches. Even artistic endeavors were influenced by humanity's unique way of perceiving patterns and possibilities. The greatest predatory adaptation, Maya told her latest class, wasn't our physical capabilities or even our intelligence. It was our ability to learn, adapt, and teach others. On Earth, we pass knowledge down through generations. Among the stars, we're passing it across species. As the training cycle concluded, the Academy's alien graduates demonstrated capabilities that surprised even their human instructors. They hadn't become human-like predators. They'd become better versions of themselves, enhanced by understanding humanity's cognitive approaches. Admiral Chen's final report to Earth highlighted this unexpected development. We've transformed from the galaxy's ultimate predators into its ultimate teachers. Our hunting heritage, once seen as a potential threat, has become a gift we can share with other species. In teaching others, we've discovered new aspects of our own capabilities. The Academy stood as testament to humanity's continued evolution. The skills that had once made them Earth's apex predators now serve to elevate all species, proving that the true power of humanity's predatory heritage lay not in dominance, but in the ability to help others unlock their own potential. The observation deck of the Galactic Hub Station offered a panoramic view of stars and spacecraft, moving in intricate patterns. Ambassador Elena Santos stood beside Council Leader Zaxri, watching as vessels from dozens of species navigated the complex space lanes with newfound confidence. A decade ago, many feared humanity would become the galaxy's apex predator. Zaxri observed, their crystalline form reflecting starlight. Instead, you've helped create something unprecedented. Elena nodded, tracking the movements of a mixed-species exploration fleet preparing for launch. Human vessels flew alongside ships from civilizations that had once viewed them with suspicion, their coordinated actions displaying a perfect blend of different evolutionary advantages. We discovered something our ancestors knew instinctively, Elena responded. The most successful predators aren't those with the sharpest claws, but those who understand their environment and adapt to change. The hub's main display activated, showing real-time data from across known space. Human-designed tracking systems merged with alien sensor technology, creating detection networks more sophisticated than either could achieve alone. Trading vessels moved in formations that combined human pack tactics with other species' natural abilities. Look there. Elena pointed to a rescue operation near the Carina Nebula. The Meridian ships are using their electromagnetic sensitivity guided by human tracking principles. Beside them, the Arxens apply their hive mind processing to human pattern recognition techniques. A group of Academy graduates entered the observation deck, their diverse forms moving with new confidence. They carried themselves differently now, having learned to combine humanity's predatory awareness with their own evolutionary gifts. Your species surprised us all, Zaxri admitted. We expected conquerors but found teachers, predators who used their skills to protect rather than dominate. The display shifted to show new colonial ventures on previously uninhabitable worlds. Human persistence hunting strategies, adapted for space exploration, had revolutionized how species approached hostile environments. What one species found impossible became achievable through cooperation. We never lost our predatory instincts, Elena explained, watching a joint research team tackle a spatial anomaly. We simply evolved to use them differently. The same drive that once helped us track prey now helps us track scientific discoveries. The hub's alert system chimed softly, announcing the arrival of a deep space expedition. The returning ships carried crews from 20 different species, their mission having proven that diverse evolutionary approaches could achieve more than any single species working alone. Your Academy graduates don't just learn human techniques, Zaxri noted. They discover their own hidden capabilities. It's as if understanding your predatory nature helps them understand their own potential. Elena smiled, remembering her own journey from xenobiologist to ambassador. That's because being a predator was never about being the strongest. It was about understanding yourself, your environment, your limitations and advantages. The observation deck, filled with representatives from across the galaxy, gathered for the launch of a new initiative. The Galactic Cooperation Protocol would formally establish what humanity had been teaching informally: the value of combining different evolutionary approaches. We're all products of different evolutionary paths, Elena addressed the gathering. Humans became persistence predators because Earth demanded it. Your species developed other remarkable adaptations. Together, we're discovering how these different paths can complement each other. The assembled representatives watched as the first ships bearing the new protocol's insignia departed. Each vessel carried crews trained to combine human hunting intuition with their own species' unique capabilities. Perhaps this was always our destiny, Elena continued, not to be the galaxy's ultimate predator, but to help all species discover their own strength. The same instincts that once made us hunters now make us guides. As the ceremony concluded, Zaxri made a final observation in their report. Humanity has shown us that evolution's gifts can serve purposes far beyond their original function. Their predatory heritage, once feared, has become a catalyst for unprecedented cooperation and discovery. The stars shone steadily as ships of all designs moved through space, their crews working together with newfound understanding. In the vast darkness between worlds, humanity had found its true role, not as the galaxy's apex predator, but as the species that helped others discover their own hidden strengths. Together, they faced the unknown not as predator and prey, but as equals united by the desire to explore, learn, and grow. The ultimate expression of humanity's predatory evolution wasn't dominance, but the ability to help all species become the best versions of themselves.